Hey lunatics, thank you for checking out another lunar pool. This will be a short reading for all signs, any sign, intended to help illuminate what the moon in Gemini has to offer us at this time on the 27th now of October, I believe. Three of Wands is our first card out. That represents the space that this moon in Gemini puts us into. And it has been in Gemini, the moon has, for about 24 hours now as I'm recording this. It's offering us gains. The Five of Pentacles in reverse, so of an earthly type. A new place to live, a new job, a raise, more money, a windfall of some kind, resources of some kind, other than money, but that we value more or just the same. That's what this time is this space, and maybe even a little bit before the space and after is offering us for some. I don't like to box these lunar pools into the exact times, although it has been there in Gemini for about 24 hours, and the moon will stay there until tomorrow evening around 7:30, 7:40, I think, my time, New York time, when it moves into Cancer, of course. So for another 24 hours or so at this point, it will still be in Gemini. And our advice is the Nine of Cups reversed. Not to be too smug or arrogant about these gains, whatever they are when we receive them. Again, earthly gains, an earthly resource of some type that you're offered during this time. And the Five of Wands is on the bottom of the deck. Okay, so this is us. Three of Wands energy. And you see this character is very invested. She's confident. She has established this project by investing herself in it. The first step or decision in her process, her progress, has been made. And whether you're, masculine or feminine, I see that character as a woman for some reason. But whether you're masculine or feminine at this time, that's for all of us. That's for the collective. And here's that Five of Pentacles, what we're being offered. But in reverse, it always means a gain of some type to me. It can in the original card be speaking of two people feeling alone together. But in the reverse, we would be outside of that energy at this time anyway. And so, you may be gaining in that way. It's someone who doesn't need support because they have everything they need. In its upright position, this card is someone seeking support, but in reverse, we don't need any support. We've gained what we need in some area, some respect. Not that there's anything wrong with asking for support when we need it, of course, right? But this indicates that during this time we're gaining something, and maybe something that we normally do need to ask for support about. Maybe it is just as basic as money, or some resource that money buys for us, right? And if you're feeling like you're lacking, if you're feeling like you're more in the Five of Pentacles energy, like you're lacking, like you don't have enough, like you've lost something, this reading can be suggesting that the moon in Gemini, this time period, is a good time period for us to shift that perspective, that we're being offered the opportunity to shift that perspective, to look at things in terms of what we do have, what areas we don't need support in, what things we don't need to ask for, because we already have them. And then here is our best advice, the Nine of Cups, rather, reversed. And this is the Deviant Moon Tarot that we are using, and I will put information about this deck and any other deck that we use in this reading in the description of the video, as always. The Nine of Cups reminds us to let ourselves have what we want. In reverse, asks us if we are settling in any respect for anything at this time, letting any of our dreams die, perhaps. So what I see here is that this character representing us already has much to be thankful for, already has much to be grateful for, right? He or she knows what she wants. She knows how much of herself she's willing to invest in it. For some, for some of us, it's all of us. It's most of us. It's a lot of our energy we're willing to invest in this thing, like this Mother of Sorts here, right? And it looks like she is aided by the natural cycles around her, by the moon, but all planetary activity, by all natural cycles taking place in and around her, right? As we are, and as this reading is speaking to, that the moon in Gemini is giving us this opportunity to see all that we already have, for a lot of us. For some, to see how much, to really appreciate how much we are gaining at this time. And for others to shift our perspective about how much we already have. And because showing gratitude for how much we already have will lead us to more, if that's what we're looking for, even more gains. But so this character has much to be thankful for, and they either need to see that or are offered an opportunity to see even more gains, right? To shift that perspective and see what they have rather than what they're lacking, or to actually gain more presently. And I do think we're talking about in a material sense, right? So what you have in a material sense already, or you're gaining even more in a material sense at this time. But with this, letting yourself have what you want, you're being offered gains, and yet you need to let yourself have what you want at this time. So I feel like it is about a perspective shift. It is about this person here in the first card seeing all that they already have, right? Seeing all that they have, yes, in a material way, even if you feel like you're lacking, because she's in this anxiety. If you look closely, there's a little bit of anxiety here. She waits to see how these plants, her project, her process, how it develops, how it turns out. And instead she could shift her perspective to seeing how much she has, how much it's affording her, how much it's worth, that she knows what she wants, she knows how to get it, she knows how much she's willing to invest, and that she is seeing progress and process, even if it's not happening as quickly as she'd like, and that she is aided by the cycles within and around her. And in shifting that perspective, she takes this advice here, which is allowing herself to have what she wants, which is, I think for a lot of us, what we already have, it's just not developing as quickly as we'd like, right? We've made the first step or decision, and for some of us, that just means we've decided what it is that we want and what we're going after, what our target is, what our goal is. And we are gaining. For those of us that are stuck in a mindset of seeing what we're lacking, what we don't have, we need to instead appreciate what it is that we have, which will allow an inflow of more gain. And for some of us Geminis, we're Geminis. I guess we're all Geminis right now. For some of us under this Gemini moon, we're we're already there. We've already been showing gratitude and appreciation, and so we get to see even more earthly gains. In either case, in either sense, there are gains to be seen. And for some, for some of us, we're looking at not getting too smug or arrogant as we realize these gains, whether they're coming in or we're realizing we already have them. We don't want to be too smug or arrogant. It could definitely cause some strife, some ego drama, either just within ourselves or with energies around us that don't appreciate that smugness, that arrogance, right? It could cause us to push away someone or something that we end up immediately regretting when we're in that energy. And with this as the overall energy, I see a few different messages for us. So quickly, with this Five of Wands speaking up as an overall energy for the reading, I think some of us at this time have this fight within ourselves about shifting that perspective I was talking about, moving out of anxiety and feeling like we're lacking and into realizing all that we already have and maybe are actually continuing to gain at this time. And there's this ego drama within ourselves. And for some, it is that anxiety that can cause strife with others around us as well. We may not take those arguments seriously at first, but as I said, it can lead to us losing something that we immediately regret. So I think it's sort of a gift from spirit, if this message is connecting with you, to take a second look at those things before you do something that you regret, in a space of anxiety and or arrogance and smugness. If you're on the other side of already realizing the gains that some part of us knows is coming in, whether we're in that space or not. It's just a perspective shift away, right? That's what we're talking about. Yeah, and in any sense, the overall energy is that there is some type of ego drama, some sort of strife, some sort of fight, whether it's within or without or both, and it can lead to this regret if we don't move out of that energy in order to make our decisions at this time, right? We don't want to cut someone or something out of our life quickly because we're in an either, like I said, arrogant or smug space, or because we're in caught up in this this anxious energy, perhaps. And I say, I think it's a gift from spirit because of the star card showing up. Then underneath that, I think for those who could connect with this message at all during this time, and maybe it's right on time. I felt like I was about 24 hours late, but maybe it's right on time for some. For those who connect with it, I do think it's an opportunity to catch that before you regret it. We humans have lots of moods like that can cause us to make a rash, quick decision, right? Where we push someone or something away that we immediately regret is the second we're feeling like ourselves, the second our temper cools off, or the second the anxiety cloud clears away, or the second that we realize that our arrogance and our smugness is only temporary. Whatever the quick emotion is, I do think some of us are being offered the opportunity to cut it off before it happens. Certainly with the star card here as well. And we'll use the Radiant Rider-Waite to take a peek at the moon in Cancer as well. So as I said, the moon stays in Gemini until tomorrow evening. So for another 28 hours or something at this point, 28, 29. And then when the moon moves into Cancer, the cardinal water sign, we have the Ace of Cups, or water. And we're collectively offered an opportunity for intense sharing of some type, perhaps with a new love for many, or about a new love, if it's if the love is an activity you love doing instead of a person. And we are, a lot of us, in that intense sharing about or with a new love. We're offered an opportunity for true happiness. And I do think this is speaking to what we're being offered with this particular card showing up with the hand offering us the cup, the water. And I think this is a lot of us has to do with that that new perspective. It is that new perspective that we want to communicate from, as far as the intense sharing. And then you have the Nine of Cups on the bottom of that clarifier deck. We do. And the Ace of Water again, here on the bottom of Paulina Cassidy's Spirit Song Tarot. So I definitely see, once the moon moves into Cancer, and we're sharing that energy, I definitely see this, that this new perspective we're shifting into during this time will put us in a more loving space, right on time for the moon in Cancer, right? Able to embrace the energy of self-love that the Nine of Cups upright represents. Possibly for some of us who hear the message through avoiding this ego drama, recognizing that it can cause regret for us, that it hurts us as well as the other person that we may be in strife with if it's an exterior fight. See, it's just as if we're uprighting this energy from possibly letting a dream die to making sure that we do not, from possibly allowing smug and arrogance to cost us something, to showing true self-love to ourselves through, avoiding that detriment to ourselves, to our own life, to our own relationships, maybe. Also, from possibly for some settling for something, to showing self-love in the way of refusing to settle for less than what you want, deserve, need. And that it falls right in line with not letting that dream die for some of us. Which, for those of you who resonate with the message in that way, that is the opportunity for happiness. That is what you want to communicate about, what you want to share intensely about for, or with whom you want to share intensely with. It is that dream that you're not letting die. And I see the Death and Rebirth card here as well. This is on the bottom of another deck that I had out as a thought that we may use. And the Fool card underneath of the Nine of Cups. So I do see this is the beginning. This perspective shift is the beginning of a transformation for a lot of us, a major transformation in a new beginning. It's not happening at this time. I feel it coming down the line a little bit. Into November, as we move into November, for some it's even closer. But it's like this perspective shift that's happening during these few days is the beginning of that. It leads to that. We don't let a dream die or a relationship end. And we have this opportunity then for true happiness, to communicate intensely, to make sure we don't settle for less than we want. And that perspective shift back to back with understanding why it was so important, seeing the opportunities for true happiness that it offers us ultimately through doing what we love or being with whom we love, it solidifies our decision sort of to allow this transformation to happen then. We see the new beginning, we see the possibilities, we see the reward in beginning fresh, and seeing things from a more loving perspective, whether it's self-love or we're talking about compromise and open communication with someone else. Definitely for some, again, one more time, there's the opportunity here to accept this gift from spirit and avoid losing something that we love dearly, something or someone, an activity or a person. I feel most strongly that we love very, very dearly. That again, I think that we are invested in, have invested a lot of energy in already up to this point. There's this opportunity not to lose